Hey folks, we are back on the trail and I am on my next backpacking adventure for 2024. This weekend I find myself in the Lost Creek wilderness of Colorado. So let's go get it. So let me tell you a little bit about the loop that we are doing this weekend. So in the Lost Creek wilderness, there are several trails that you can hike, and you can really make all different kinds of loops. So the one that we are doing starts at the Lost Park Campground, and it's a 30-mile loop. We are doing it counterclockwise, starting off with the Brookside McCurdy trail, and that takes you all the way up to Bison Peak and then back down, and then that connects up with McCurdy Park Trail on the east side of this loop. And then you start heading north, and that intersects with the Wigwam Trail. Once you hit the Wigwam Trail, then you can start heading back west, and that will take you back to the Lost Park Campground. The hiking app says that it is around 28.8 miles, and it seems to be one of the more popular loops that people do for a backpacking trip. On this backpacking trip, I have with me my son. It'll be his first backpacking trip of the year, as well as Sherpa. This is the first trip that I've been able to take Sherpa on to go backpacking. I also have with me one of my friends, Charles, who's the great outdoorsman. So he loves to join me on my backpacking trips every now and then. So that is who you will see in this video, and we are looking forward to it. So we are here in the Lost Creek wilderness. It is the middle of June, June 14th to be exact, and the weather is great. So the highs are supposed to be in the upper 60s. Looks like the lows are going to be in the lower 40s. So that is great temperature for camping. And the Lost Creek wilderness is just a great area to explore. It is a beautiful area. We'll be climbing Bison Peak today, which goes up to, I think, almost 12,000 feet. But there's no snow and there's no passes to cover, so the Lost Creek wilderness makes for an ideal backpacking trip in Colorado during the June time frame. So let me catch my breath as we begin to start a gradual climb up to Bison Peak here on Brookside McCurdy. And it's fairly slow incline for those first 4.5 miles. And then to stay on Brookside McCurdy, you take the left at that trail sign. And now we climb. And it's straight up. I think it's about 800,000 feet over the next mile and a half. Not to the tip of Bison Peak, but we skirt around it. All right, I made it to my first switchback, resting a little bit on the trail. Looks like there's a storm coming in. It's been sprinkling on or off. It looks like it might skirt around us. Hopefully that'll be the case once we get up to the peak. But luckily right now, there's still tree cover that we could ditch under if we need to. But temperatures are cool. Overcast skies, keeping the temperatures down. Let's make it to the top of this peak Had to get the rain gear on, because that is what looks like it's coming our way. It's not heavy rain. The wind's blowing pretty good. Just enough to make you want to put on your rain jacket. Well, we have finally made it to the top of, I guess this is, if that's Bison Peak, and I'm guessing this is Bison Mountain. We did the climb, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was 800 to 1,000 feet, over a mile, mile and a half. But I think it was just my first real climb of the year, at elevation anyway. And so, yeah, took a few breaks, but it is beautiful up here. It really is, even with the wind. Love these cool rock formations that are here on the trail. You know, that's pretty cool. And if I'm not mistaken, that is Pikes Peak in the distance. So it's kind of a shame that it's overcast and raining a little bit, because I think you can see several 14ers from up here. I've heard you can see Grays and Torrey. I think you can see Evans and Bierstadt. And I think that's what we were looking at on the way up that was covered in rain. I think that may have been Grays and Torrey. But it is super beautiful up here. And it looks like there's some sun. Got some sun. Hopefully that sun is coming our way. Unfortunate that we had some rough weather up there near Bison Peak. I'd have loved to hang out there for a while. Really cool rock formations. Sherpa would have loved playing in the snow a little bit more and just chill out, have a snack. That was kind of my plan. But when that cold wind is whipping through and you can see it coming, we decided it's just best to start heading down. Huge difference when you're on the windward side, as we were coming up of the mountain, and now we're on the leeward side where the mountain is blocking the wind. So it's actually quite pleasant now. You can still see it coming, but big difference being on the other side of the mountain. Check out some of these views. All right, don't let that first peak, Bison Peak, to fool you. You know, if you're going counterclockwise, you hit the highest point on this loop, which is around 11,800. And then you drop down probably, I think it may have been 400 feet. And then you kind of start going up again. And in my mind, I was thinking, oh, we're just heading down. but there is, you know, like half a mile section that probably went up 300 feet. So, you know, that's not nothing. So just be, you know, mindful and prepared that when you hit the top of Bison Peak and you start coming down, you got some more up to go before you start heading down back into the valley. Just FYI. Sherpa don't care how many miles. She's probably done twice as many as I have. So we're about 8 miles in, and Charles is now ahead of me. And Sherpa has this thing where she goes back and forth. And our other lab did that. So I don't know if that's a lab thing or a dog thing, but she goes and checks on everybody in the group. Looks like we are finally headed down. And I think we're going down now. Just as you come over that crest and you see Pikes Peak and the sun started coming out, so it was beautiful. But what a magnificent view of Pikes Peak. And for us, you know, it's been cloudy most of the day. And so for it to kind of clear up a little bit and have the sun come out and shining on Pikes Peak, that was pretty awesome. All right, a couple more miles to camp, and looking forward to setting up my hammock and chilling out a little bit. This is our turnoff. Yep, so we will continue on that way, McCurdy Park Trail. We're gonna be heading down McCurdy Park Trail, and we may have half a mile left. I have a spot marked out on my map, and we'll see what we can find when we get there. All right, see you at camp. All right, we have camp set up, so let me show you what we got here. So because Sherpa's here, I brought my my bug net that goes around my hammock. You can see she's down there. She is whooped out, so she's already on her little sleeping pad. I've got her jacket over there in case it gets cold at night. But yeah, I brought the Dutch netless hammock. One change I have made to my whoopee sling here, the new one, the Dynaglide, is I switched out my continuous loop for a soft shackle. Because that other soft shackle was just so long, I wasn't understanding, and maybe I'm thinking about it wrong, but I got a soft shackle and I replaced the continuous loop on this hammock, and now it is much shorter. So the distance between these two trees is probably 18 feet, 17 feet. And normally I would never be able to hang whoopee slings this close together, but it is working out. So loving the Dynaglide, that's working really well. And again, I put soft shackles on both ends. So now I don't need any type of connection. That soft shackle helps me make the connection that I need. So that is great. All right, so now let's look inside. For my sleep system, I'm doing something a little bit different. So instead of an underquilt, I did bring a sleeping pad, which normally, if you know me, I do not like a sleeping pad in a hammock. It moves around too much. But what I'm going to try out is the Zen Bivy sleep system with this pad. So it keeps it all contained and not moving around. So we're going to see how this works out. The reason I'm doing this and trying this out is on the John Muir Trail, I want to be able to sleep on a pad instead of an underquilt, and because I may have to go to the ground if I can't find trees when I'm on the John Muir Trail. And with this new ultralight Zen Bivy system, it's awesome. I think it's like 19 ounces for the actual quilt and for the pillow barn there. It is awesome. But I'm going to try this out to see if this works in the hammock. If this works well, then this could be a pretty lightweight option that I have for my sleep system, with my pad coming in around 16, 17 ounces, which is lighter than my underquilt. And then my 25-degree Zen Bivy, the whole system, is around like 19 ounces, which is awesome. So we're going to try this out this week and just see how well that works. Now that we've had dinner, let me just show you around camp a little bit for day one. So here is Charles. Got a MSR tent. That's where he'll be sleeping tonight. Got a nice little fire pit area. Charles built this an amazing fire. It's my friend Chuck right there. It's got his tea. And then Nate has gone to bed early because he's tired. But let me show you. He's got, you can't see, I may show you tomorrow. He has actually the Hennessy hammock that I had originally. And I mean, that thing's probably 8 years old, but it still works well. That was my first asymmetrical hammock, and it's been a great one now. And now he uses it. Let me just show you kind of our water source and the sunset, and it's beautiful, beautiful evening. So we do have a little bushwhacking. It looks like there's a little trail through here, but it leads out to a creek. This is where we get our water. It's about 7:45. The sun is setting, and it's beautiful out here tonight. All right, quick recap for the day. We hiked in about 10 and a half, 11 miles. We started at the Lost Park Campground, and the first 4 or 5 miles is beautiful. So you're walking along this tree-lined forest, but then you have open views, and it's prime moose sightings, but we didn't see any. We saw a lot of moose poop on the trail, but we didn't see any moose. And then after about 4.5 miles, then you start to climb for another mile, mile and a half up into the Bison Peak area. And that's where the views begin to just really open up, and you can see all kind of 14ers. Unfortunately, today we hit it at a bad time. A lot of cloud cover, rain was coming in, so we didn't get to see it as well as we could have. And then you're kind of up there for a while. So you may come down a little bit, a few hundred feet, but then you're still climbing a little bit. Maybe for another mile or two, and then you begin to descend. You begin to descend pretty rapidly. But even coming down on the other side, there's this beautiful aspen forest that we're walking through, and the light was hitting it just right, and the rocks are super cool, and so it was really just a wonderful day. The weather started off a little sketchy, but as you can see, like right now, it's blue skies and it's wonderful. And then we finally made it to camp near this creek, just past the intersection, the McCurdy Park intersection. We're probably half a mile from there, and found a fire pit, place to hang our hammocks, pitch a tent. Got a good source for water, and so we grabbed it. And now we've just settled in, had our dinner, have all of our shelter set up, and we're good to go for the night. So now it's time to just go and enjoy the fire and get ready and do it all again tomorrow. See you in the morning.